So right now, the first thought that you're thinking is, why should you keep watching? Why should you watch this video? First of all, I don't have anything to sell you. There's nothing that I want from you. The only purpose of this video is to wake you up. That's the only purpose. And if this second question comes, like, why should I bother to wake up? Like, my life is great. I don't have enough time. Like right now, the time is ticking, I know. So I'm gonna be respectful of your time. And the reason why you should wake up is, think of this. Let's say you have a donkey, right? And this donkey, it has a human on its back and it has a carrot on the stick. But this donkey is not aware of the carrot of the stick. He's not aware of the human. He, from his young age, he always has chased the carrot, right? And this donkey, he's always chasing the carrot, and sometimes he gets the carrot more easily than other days. Sometimes it's warm, sometimes it's cold. Like, you don't feel like chasing the carrot, but it feels that how the donkey feels like is there's no other option, there's no other choice. I need to chase this carrot because if I don't chase this carrot, I'm gonna die. And right now you're thinking, what does this has to do with you waking up? Let's say you have the donkey, right? And you will be the donkey. I'm not saying that you are a donkey or of course I'm not offending you here, but let's say we were the donkey. Would you want someone from the outside come to you to tell you like, listen, there's a human on your back, it's all fake, there's a carrot on the stick? So most donkeys, to be honest, they are not comfortable with that truth because they cannot handle that. The biggest reason why they cannot handle that is because they always got certainty, they got familiarity, their survival depends on it. So this donkey, it wouldn't want to wake up because it's thinking like, okay, to be honest, like even if it's like this, even if there isn't a human on my back, let me just go back to sleep because this human is benefiting me. He's giving me the carrot and I'm okay with this life, right? But who is benefiting from this story? Is it the donkey or is it the human on the back? So let's say that the human on the back is the system, right? The system. And what's the reason, think of this, what's the biggest reason why the donkey doesn't want to wake up? The biggest reason is dependence. Dependence. So think of this. We're all human beings, and this is what most human beings don't get. We are the most dependent creature on the whole wide world. From all the animals in the world, we rely on our parents more than anything else, any other species on the planet. So from a young age, we're dropped in this society, right? And our survival depends on our parents, on the system, on society. And this was always the case. And when we go back in history, people lived in tribes. And if you didn't listen to the tribe and you didn't do what the system, so this can be a tribe, this can be infrastructure, this can be the government, law and order, like you name it, right? But back in the day, the system back in the day was the tribe. Then you had the tribe leader, you had hierarchies. Why is this important? Because if you back then didn't listen to the system, they will literally kick you out of the tribe, and then your survival depends on yourself. But we human beings, we need each other. Like we need someone, like we need the infrastructure. And right now think about it. When you go outside, there's a whole infrastructure. There's roads, you're driving a car that you didn't create yourself, there's airplanes that you didn't create yourself, there's grocery stores, there is solutions to so many problems. So basically right now, life is good, right? There are all these things that you can rely on. And you need to think of this. First of all, money is a currency that a lot of people in the world use, right? So the most known currency is the US dollar, as an example, right? And the reason why US dollar has value is because a lot of people use it. So the system likes monopolies. So the system wants to own resources. This is what the system wants to do, right? And resources is needed for survival, right? And this is how they create dependence. Because if they own the resources, who depends on these resources? The humans, right? Me, you, we depend on these things. We depend on these grocery stores. We depend on these foods. But if you go back in time again, you had people, most people, they were farmers. They were growing their own food. So the answer is not to live outside the system. The answer is not that you all of a sudden become a farmer. There is a bigger answer to this and a bigger solution, because I've been studying this stuff, and I think that the number one thing that most people want is freedom. This is the reason why people, they want more money. People want to have more status because they get treated a certain way. And when they have more money, they believe that money buys everything. It buys security, it buys freedom, it buys love. Like, people really believe this, right? But the thing is that this currency, by itself, it doesn't have any value. The only reason why it has value is because worldwide people use it. And that's what gives it value. So the value is not real, it's just a piece of paper, but the perceived value. So this is how they own resources, and some resources, like money as an example, they are dependent on beliefs, right? So if people believe that this worthless piece of paper has value, then it will hold its value, right? So you need to think, like, why is this important? Why should I care? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, okay, obviously, like you explained it yourself, this money is a useful tool that we all can use, right? What does this has to do with me? And I'm gonna tell you what this has to do with you. So right now you are working for money, right? So this means that you are giving something from yourself as an exchange. You are giving your time. So people, humans, they give their time up for made up dollars. The problem is this: who owns the made up dollars? The system. They own these dollars because they created this system. So how it starts is always the same. It's always the same way. How it starts is, it starts with comfort, right? So what has comfort to do with this? So what this system does is it creates convenience, right? So what it does is it puts the dollar out, and in the beginning it has all these rules. Like, it has the gold standard, like you can trade your dollars for gold, and there is X amount of gold. Then you have X equals X, right? As an example, X equals X. So what you do, this cannot be changed, right? So if you say that $10 is X equals amount of X dollars, so X amount of dollars equals X amount of gold, then in the beginning, like, money should not lose its value, right? But then when people adopt money, then the new regulations come. And this is always the same structure, the same way, how they create these new things that people depend on. And the only way the system can keep existing is because of this dependence. So the being dependent on the system is what keeps the system alive. So the goal is to have independence, and that's the goal. And how you have independence is that you recognize all this stuff, and this is what they are gonna use AI for in the future. And this is what most people don't get, is people think that AI is going to increase the economy and all this stuff, and this is true. But what most people don't realize is that who's gonna own these infrastructures? Who's gonna own this more wealth, more this, more that? It's gonna be the system. So the system owns these resources again, and what will happen is humans will become dependent on the system. So what AI will create is that it will find better ways to make humans dependent. And if humans are dependent on the system, humans become predictable, compliant, they can be programmed, and they will just simply comply because they have no other choice. They get forced in compliance. And let me give you the last example. let's say that I create, as an example you have with AI, you have ChatGPT, right? And I say to you like, listen, I have a new AI that's way better than ChatGPT and it's free for everyone, right? Then people use it, they become dependent on it, right? They can't live without anymore. Then I start to ask money for it. But now everybody will pay me money because people need it. They can't live without it. So that's how it works. So this is how the system is designed to make you dependent. So right now you're thinking like, okay, at this point, I don't really know what you're thinking. I really don't. But what I would think in your shoes is like, is there more things that I should know? Let me tell you this, that the system, we're talking about the system, but this is managed by humans and the top tier humans, right? And the reason why the system is created so they can be above the system, right? And they can maintain control on humans and power. And how they control the humans is by controlling having ownership of the resources and all these things. And why does this make sense? Because this is also a trick of the system, is to distract human beings. So what they do is they make human beings, they distract them, they make them weak-minded and all these things. They program them in insecurity and all these things, bad beliefs about money. And what happens is that the system is designed so you can be a consumer of the system, so you can be dependent on the system and you serve the system. This is the reason why this system has been designed. And so who are you serving? You are serving this, right? And this is humans like that are above the system, and they don't play by the same rules as the ones who are dependent on the system. They are not, like, they are above the system, they own the system. So they don't need to, like the same way that the donkey has been owned by the human. So the one who's benefiting out of this relationship is not the donkey, but it's the human that's sitting on the back. And this is, these humans, they are sitting on the back of this system that they created so they can maintain control, they can maintain power. And if you think about it, most stuff out there we don't even really need. Like all these products, processed foods, it just makes you sick. And when you become sick again, then you need to go to the systems, medical, like I just try to keep it simple, right? So then you go to the doctors, then you pay so much money to the doctors. So they are just, with everything that they create this ecosystem with stuff that you don't really need. And they're just profiting out of this, and they are reaching their goals. And the goal is to distract humans, to keep them asleep, to keep them dependent on the system, and to keep them unaware, because the same way that the donkey is not aware from the guy on the back, and the same way that the donkey thinks like my life is fine, this is exactly what the system wants. This is exactly what these people want. That you just simply keep chasing that carrot, right? So I don't know what you think of this video. So waking up just means that you resist the stuff that distract you, like endless, giving you some examples, processed foods, endless doom scrolling, arguing with each other, talking about stuff that don't matter, endless entertainment, wasting your time. And again, time is super valuable. It's way more valuable than you or you and me or we together trading our time for just money, or doom scrolling endlessly, or entertaining ourselves with cheap dopamine endlessly. And this is designed to suck you, like to milk you, like how you milk a cow the same way, right? But don't panic, because when people hear this, they wake up, they start to panic, and they do some weird stuff.